Another question, how did Zyler react when you first adopted Menchie? I'm thinking of adopting a kitten, but I have an 8-year-old cat. How did you introduce them to each other to make it work?
This is a good question because this is definitely something you need to consider before getting a second animal, right?
Yeah.
Is like, what is the temperament of your first animal? Because you are going to introduce a new pet into its territory, basically. Right?
Yeah,
it's not all about the new baby.
And we could talk about our experience a little, but like we're not experts on this. I'm sure you can find a lot of resources online for different methods of approaching this. For us, the most important thing was just very slowly introducing Menchie to Zyler. So we were lucky in that we had a back room in that condo. It
was the nail polish filming room in the condo, and there was a sliding door. So we decided to split up the cats so they didn't actually meet face to face for 2 weeks. I think
it might have even been more than that.
It might have been more than 2 weeks, but 2 weeks was what we were told, like based on our research on the internet and like what the people at the adoption center said. That's what they recommended, especially for Zyler's benefit, really, who'd already been living in that condo for a couple years now, so it was like his space. So for 2 weeks, Menchie only lived in the nail polish room, which was fine. She was like a small kitten, so that's fine. And Zyler lived in the rest of the condo, and they would just smell each other under the door. So they didn't actually like, and we tried to make them not able to touch by putting towels under the door, so they weren't like able to get each other's hands.
But Zyler was super curious. He really wanted to get in there.
Yeah, it was distressing for sure because he could smell that there was another cat there. But I think it was the best way to get them used to each other's scents, mostly like Zyler getting used to Menchie's scent and giving Menchie some time to just adjust to us too.
Yeah, apparently there are also these like pheromone thing. We didn't do this, but I've heard like you can plug in these things that emit pheromones that can help relax cats or put them in a good mood.
Actually,
or something.
We did do that when we moved into this place.
That's right. Okay.
So I bought 2 and plugged them in. I don't really know for sure if that helped, but I was worried about moving. You know, because especially Menchie, she'd only been in one place her whole life.
Yeah.
So when we moved, I was like a little nervous, but they were both fine with that. But in terms of introducing them to each other, I think it was really taking into consideration like your first pet, like Zyler in this case, because he needed to feel comfortable and like not too agitated and very slow, so he didn't feel like you were all of a sudden paying too much attention to someone other than him, you know?
And I think Zyler pretty clearly established, once they were interacting and we were supervising that, I think it became pretty clear he was the alpha cat.
Oh, he started licking her immediately and like pushed her down. He was like, "Get down, I'm gonna lick your face."
Yeah, so I think the dynamic between them kind of works because there's the clear alpha cat and then Menchie is happy to be second fiddle in that way in a sense.
Yeah, and I think maybe that shaped their personalities. And that's why Menchie's kind of like the soft sweetie.
And they never really, like, they'll play fight sometimes. And Zyler will maybe occasionally get a little too rough with her. But she's usually the one that instigates it.
Yeah.
So she clearly wants to sort of mess around. And then she'll start making noises as if like, oh, he's being mean to me. And we look over and we're like, no, like she was the one who was instigating the situation. Yeah.